actually jumped him at his house, and I took his Arkham Memorial vest, and he came to the next show, and then I beat him, and I kept his vest, and then he actually retired after that. So I like to state claim that I retired the negative story.
And I know you had wrestled a WWE Hall of Famer before at the Valor shows. Mm-hmm. Tell us about that experience, and who was it?
So my manager at the time was Andy Weinberg, one of my best friends to this day, and we heard that Nikolai Volkov, WWE Hall of Famer, was running his mouth, and we just wanted to show him that this isn't his territory anymore, and that the big dogs are playing harder than what they were back then. So we had a match at a benefit show, actually, and fortunately he got the upper hand on me. But what I learned was he can still wrestle, he can still give and take. But yeah, it was a very memorable moment for me. Definitely being my first big match as that against a WWE Hall of Famer. Nikolai and I talk every now and then if we see each other in the locker room. We don't hold any bad feelings against each other, but
good.
I still told him I want a rematch.
Good.
Now, you've worked in Central PA. You've worked for UWE, LCW, of course, Valor, like Ryan said, PWE, and Legacy Wrestling. Are there any, what would maybe your most memorable moments from any of the companies that you've worked with? Obviously, besides getting the chance to wrestle Nikolai Volkov.
I guess I would have to say being on the first show of a debuting company is always awesome. You know what I mean? Just being able to say, like, I was on that first card, and I was on the first card for Pro Wrestling Empire. I was on the first card for Legacy Wrestling. I was on the first card for Valor Professional Wrestling back in 2012. It just makes me feel blessed and humble just to have those types of experiences to say, look, I've been with these companies from the beginning, and look, they're still thriving. So I would say those, out of everything, the first matches are always the best.
All right, we're going to talk about Legacy here in just a second. Coming up, your upcoming match this weekend. But you were saying that the very first time you were with Legacy, you were part of the Gauntlet match. Describe that match for us, and then the ultimate conclusion of that match with the Lariat.
Oh yeah, that took me back a couple of weeks. But so basically, it was a Gauntlet match. I had my Gauntlet match. I had Officer David Hetfield was out there talking all kinds of trash on the mic. He was supposed to be facing, I forget who it was at the time, but I went out there. I wasn't going to wait. Pretty much took him out. Then Ark Ripper came out. It was a couple minutes, took care of him, and then I forget the other guy's name. Someone else came out with a mask, Lucha. I took him out. Ultimately, I won the match. As I was facing towards the crowd, showing them that thank you for all the support, I turned around, and DJ Hyde, the owner of CVW, came around and just gave me a huge lariat. It took me out, and then on top of that, he kicked me out of the ring as I was laying there. He just pretty much made me feel like I was nothing after that match. And I still think it was kind of out of nowhere, but he'll get his. I'm not done with him. It's still in the back of my head. I've never forgotten about that, so...
Good. So, I mean, DJ is somebody that we're still seeing at the Legacy shows, so it's good to know that you've logged that in the back of your head. Let's talk about this weekend, this Saturday at Legacy Wrestling. You have a very special tag team partner. You're taking on the Wild Cards. This weekend, you're going to be teamed with WWE superstar, formerly known as Val Venus, Sean Morley. TJ, let's talk about that. When did you find out that you were going to be teaming with him? And what's it like to be teamed with somebody who has been on the largest stage of all in the professional wrestling business?
Well, I found out about about it when I was talking to Legacy management, and they told me, and I was kind of taken back. I'm like, wow, really? Like, this is a lot of responsibility right here. I have to live up to a lot of expectation with having him as my tag team partner, and he's been on the big stage, like you said. He knows the ins and outs of this business, and he's my partner. So I'm not worried about the match. It's just I just want to make sure that I can make myself look good. But it's a really good way for me to push myself, to make sure I go outside of my boundaries and just show the fans that there's more to TJ Mathis than just the frame and the name, the way I can move in the ring. There's so much more to me than what people have seen, and that's what I'm going to show this weekend. And the Wild Cards, they're one of the best tag teams in Central Pennsylvania, and let alone the whole area around here. It's just it's going to be good.
Now, besides the match that you're in that we just spoke of with you, Sean Morley, formerly known as Val Venus, is there another match on the card that's going to have you peeking maybe out of the back that you want to watch?
I would be honest. I would say every single match that is on that card is I want to see DJ Hyde get taken out by Laszlo Arpad. Definitely. That's probably going to be one of the sweetest matches for me, just so I can see him get taken out and I can just have my feel-good moment right there. Even though it's not me at the time, I'm just going to live vicariously through that.
Through Laszlo, okay.
Sort of a thrill.
All right, now we know at this show that you're actually getting an opportunity to do a benefit for a young man who is suffering from osteosarcoma. Let us know a little bit about that and what it means for you to be able to do this.
Okay, so as I go through my Facebook all the time, I try to find stories, and I usually come across things that just kind of pull at your heart. You know what I mean? So I saw this story, and I took the time to read it. And the boy's name is Chase Armstrong. He's 11 years old. He has osteosarcoma, which is a really rare form of bone disease, definitely in children. He's been through 47 of the harshest chemotherapy sessions that anybody could go through. And I got in contact with his family, and I was like, I want to help you guys somehow. I just don't know how. My outlet is wrestling. Is Chase a wrestling fan? Come to find out, Chase is a huge wrestling fan, and he saw my pictures, and he was just like, wow, he's so big. So obviously I was like, okay, he thinks that I want to meet him. But so we scheduled a meeting, myself with the Legacy owners, and what we did was we met him at Spooky Nook. We got to talk to him, get to know him a little bit more, just so we had a background on him, and he had a background on us, his family. We all just were talking and everything, and I asked them if they would be honorary guests for the show, and they were thrilled. They said yes. I'm also going to have him come out to the ring with me, stand in my corner, just for support, because he's probably one of the strongest for an 11-year-old. Looking at me, he probably thinks I'm strong, but me looking at him for everything that he's gone through in his life, he is probably one of the strongest people I've ever laid my eyes on, and he's the one that's going to push me that night, and he's the one that's going to pretty much make me not stop. If the Wild Cards want to beat us, they're going to have to make sure that I'm not breathing at the end of the night, because I'm not going to let him down.
Now wrestlers at every level, from the WWE, John Cena, pretty famously, to independent wrestlings, have had opportunities to give back to their communities and fans. Besides the instance that we just spoke about, have you had a chance to do any other things to give back? Is that something that you really enjoy doing and you can see doing, long term into the future?
Definitely. The biggest thing, my biggest drive in wrestling is just giving back to my community, and not only just my community, but other communities that could use it. If I can make someone feel special for a night, just like I'm going to with Chase, he doesn't have to worry about anything for the night. All his pain and stuff, he can just sit there and enjoy this show. If I could give back to everybody like that, I would do it in a heartbeat. And that's what wrestling's doing. It's giving me an outlet for children and teens to look at me and think that I'm something more than what I really am. And that just that just gives them that feeling like, man, like this guy cares about me, which in reality I do. I don't know them, but I'm giving my time and I'm trying to show them that if they want something in life, they can go out and get it. They just have to have somebody that tells them, just like I said earlier, accountability. They have to have someone there that's right there telling them, look, if you want this, you can do this. So that's what I'm trying to do. I want to give back to the teens, to children, to families that just need stuff, and that's why I also give my time. Last year, what we did was we raised money and clothing so we could go out in Baltimore and hand out blankets and stuff like that, because that kind of stuff is what we need. We always like focus on all the bad. We never focus on the good, and that's what we need to do. We need to start focusing on what we can do for other people instead of what people can do for us.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's great that you that you take the opportunities that you have and do these good things. Now, beyond your in-ring career and the independent scene, now are you a fan currently of like WWE, NXT, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I love watching NXT. Definitely when I'm training in the morning times, I usually just have that on. It keeps my mind off of the horrible cardio that I have to go through, because I don't think anybody likes cardio. But I watch those matches and I see how the difference between NXT and the main roster of WWE, and I just see that a lot of fans see there's a big disconnect. And for me personally, I could care less. It's a product, you know what I mean? For me to watch this, I'm not the one that's in charge of it. I'm not the one that's paying the bills and all that kind of stuff. So whatever they put out, I'm completely happy with. I know there are people that don't like some of the decisions and stuff, and yes, some of them may not be quote unquote best for business, but I just enjoy it. I just sit back. I don't have to stress about it because I'm not there, so I just enjoy it and I try to get stuff from it. And maybe I can do this, maybe I can do that in my matches, and it's for me. It's a learning process. I don't watch it just to watch it. I watch it to study everything and soak everything up that I can.
Who are some of your favorite workers in the WWE right now, or NXT?
I would have to say back in the early mid 2000s, my favorite wrestler was Randy Orton, along with Kurt Angle, obviously. But in the WWE right now, I would say Stardust, because he's unique, he's different. He's not a main guy, and that's what I like, because you don't always have to be a main guy to be over with people. I've liked the Cody Rhodes gimmick as well. I would have to say another person that I like is Apollo Crews, only because I followed him during the independence, and I've been watching a documentary that has him in it, and it just shows leaps and bounds of the kind of person that he is inside and outside of the ring. Just stuff like that. I don't really have too many favorites. I try not to get many favorites, but you have your Undertaker, Brock Lesnar's, and The Rock, and Triple H. Those type of people. I like everyone.
Now, TJ, is WWE NXT something that's on your horizon? Is that a goal for you?
If you ask me, it is. If you ask my intermediate family, it's really not. Only because some things like being away from home and stuff like that, we don't see eye to eye on. But if the opportunity ever would arise, I would definitely jump on it. We can talk about the good and the bad later. It's that opportunity that you don't get every single day, and as long as I'm trying to provide for my family, I don't see anything being wrong with that at all. I'm not going out there to do it for bad reasons at all. I'm going out there to do it to prove to myself, to prove to everybody that has my back and that has always had my back, that look, this is what I said I wanted to do, and I've accomplished this. So definitely, if it ever came to it, yeah. Yep.
Awesome. So let's say in the very near future we see TJ Mathis in NXT, who is he feuding against?